Alrighty. Just getting the show rolling here, there, folks. Facebook was acting a little strange here, but we'll let everybody try to come into the room here, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're just letting everything just kind of wait around for everybody to come in here. And all right, are we getting some people already? Cool. I would play some music in the background, but Facebook was acting up, or telling me that they didn't want me to use. They were going to block the video if I use the copyrighted music. So I can't use any copyrighted music at all. So. Which kind of sucks a little bit, but I do have it, but not prepared all as best as possible. Yep. All right, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of Frankie Slauson Show right here on Rapid Fire Radio and rapidfire.caster.fm. I'm your host with the most, Frankie Slauson. And today we are continuing the summer series, or my summer series, interview series called Frankie's Icons of Pop Culture. Now, this may not be iconic, but I think lately, or at least the last 24 to 34 hours or 48 hours, it's become kind of iconic. There is a trailer that was released here not too long ago, just recently, within this last few days, from a guy named Joe Brandimeier, and he's a Minneapolis filmmaker, and he is somebody who is responsible for helping Greenbush kind of get back on the map, so to speak, because of a documentary that he's made about Greenbush. Well, it's not just about Greenbush, but it's about the Greenbush's robotics crew and all that. So we're going to get him on the phone here. I'm going to get this all lined up here, and then we'll call him, and we'll just do this interview now. Because I'm excited. I shared it around. I found it, shared it around. Didn't think it was going to get as much attention as it got. But I'm really happy that everything just kind of worked out. So it's very neat. So we'll give him a call right now here.
We're sorry. All circuits are busy now. Please try your call again later.
Uh-oh. Let's try it again here.
Hello, this is Joe.
Hey, Joe. This is Frankie. How's it going?
Frankie, how the heck are you?
Oh, doing excellent, my friend. Excellent. I'm glad that we're able to do this interview. I know it was kind of spontaneous. I didn't really give you a whole lot of time to prepare. I didn't give myself much time to prepare either, but I'm glad that you were willing to come on and do this with me.
Yeah, no, this is great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I have you to thank for obviously we haven't seen the documentary yet, but with the trailer itself for Small Town Robot, man, I tell you, I didn't think I'd be as happy as I have been for the last few days to know that my hometown is getting on the map for now a documentary, let alone all the championships and stuff that they've been acquiring lately.
Yeah, that's cool. I had so much fun. I mean, I've never been up to Greenbush prior to this, and I'm a huge fan of up north and northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota and that stuff. But for some reason, never made it to Greenbush. And then I saw this article and thought, oh man, I got to do this story. So so is that the first time you saw it when the trailer was posted or heard about it?
Yeah, well, I didn't know that there was anybody that was going to be doing a filming. I knew about the robotics team and everything, and I knew that they were victorious in the competition, but I had no idea that a documentary was getting worked on. That's why I was really surprised about it.
Yeah, it's been we've kept it a little bit quiet up until a couple of weeks ago, but because you're from Greenbush, is that correct?
Yes, that's actually my hometown and everything. And I was I wasn't born there, but I was raised there for the last 29 years. And then I moved.
Yeah,
then I moved to Black Hills.
I talked to a couple of people about you, and they said you're crazy fun.
Who did? I'm a little curious now. Who you talked about, or who you talked to?
I'm not going to name names. We won't name names.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, as long as they say good things, I guess that's all that really matters, you know.
Yeah, no. Most of them were good, except I think it was your mom was one of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sure who it was.
That's all right. That's all right. No, I'm just happy to have you on because this is an honor because I did a little research on you here before I found you and got a hold of you and everything and at first I didn't know who you were. I thought it was some kid from my hometown doing a project like a film project and who actually knew what the hell he was doing and everything and then to find out that this is a guy who's actually is a professional and who's been doing stuff for a long time. I'm very impressed by the quality of the camera. It's almost like you could watch this on like a TV show, like a TV channel, and it's like I'm very, very thrilled about that. Yeah.
Well, you will be seeing the premiere in the theater in Rosso Theater on August 15th. That's where we're going to do the first premiere screening up there. And I've been talking to Sherry Anderson over at the Rosso Theater, and so that's where it's going to premiere first.
Okay.
A quick screening for all the people involved in that whole area. So you'll see it on the theater screen. So I'm kind of excited about that, and it's just been such a fun project. So yeah, I've definitely done this once or twice before.
Oh well, yeah. That's what it seems like anyway. It seems like you definitely know what you're doing, and that's what I like about it. Somebody actually knows what they're doing. Not saying that you don't, but even if you were the kid that I thought you were, that was just doing this for like a film, because I know for a fact they still don't offer film school over there at Greenbush, so they don't a radio class. So, but I was just like, maybe they did, maybe they've added it or something like that, or maybe somebody actually has a liking, because I tell you what, when it comes to entertainment and stuff like that. Minnesota, especially back home up north, because of the territory and where I come from, and because of the small environment, a lot of people just want to be entertained. Entertainment is big up there, So having this documentary and being made and being the talk of the town, for the time being, this is big time for my friends and family up there.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Well, but again, too, when you say entertain, though, too, it's entertained with a great story. You know what I mean? It's just a good story. And like I said, I've been fortunate to be in this business for a long time, and I've worked with some, really great people, and I've had the privilege of spending time, like 5 months with Prince, and I've, spent time with Janet Jackson's, and I've done all kinds of huge productions. But for me, it all comes down to the people and the story, no matter who you are, whether you're the, A-list superstar or you're, whoever, kid in Haiti, it just doesn't matter. So when I first saw this story, I saw it in the paper, and it was like only mid-April, so it was only a few months ago. We had a 15 inches of snow that day, so we were kind of trapped. We were trapped inside, and we started just reading everything. And I came across this article, and shortly after the article, I started making calls and talked to, Tom Jerome, who's the superintendent up there. And one thing led to another. I went up there and started meeting people. And the more people that I met and found out that was like just a week before they were going to Detroit for the World Championships, I thought, I got to follow them. So next thing you know, I'm in a car and I'm driving to Detroit, and, and it just kept kind of unfolding little by little, because it was such a cool story.
Oh, awesome! No, that's kind of amazing, because I was just kind of wondering how the heck did this whole thing happen in the first place? Like who contacted you? Who? Because you did the book, the Up North book. I'm sure you're not. I don't know how much familiarity you have with Greenbush, let alone the entire area of Roseau County or northern Minnesota. But you know, it's one of those towns that I definitely tell you, you know, I grew up there, you know, went to school there at the same school that you that you highlighted in the trailer and in this documentary.
Cool.
And it's like, you know, it was kind of a somber moment for me watching that because you know, I don't know. I you know, get a little. I mean, I'm happy, but also a little teary-eyed because you know it's been 16 years since I graduated from that high school. So, so it's like seeing all these new people.
That's great, though. That's great because that's where, I mean, it sounds like that's where your heart is. You know, your heart is there, and that's really important.
Well, it's there more now because you know I've been gone. You know, I've lived in Rapid City for about almost 5 years, and you know, I left. You know, I left because I wanted to get away. You know, and I want. You know, I was always trying to. You know, I guess my biggest thing was I was always trying to figure out why people left that town or left any small town, and it didn't dawn on me for a while until I realized that it was because you know there is not much opportunity up there for. I mean, you're probably in the best spot where you are in Minneapolis because it probably has opened up a lot of doors for you, especially if you're hung out with Prince and all that stuff. I mean, you know, and maybe people know of your work more there than they do, you know, in my area or whatnot. But me, I had passion for radio and I had passion for broadcasting and all this stuff, and I felt that it was I couldn't get I tried to get opportunities and it just didn't work out, and I don't know if it still worked out now, but it's just, you know, my buddy and I, we do a rapid fire radio, so we've been doing this for about 4 years, and so I'm sure a lot of people were kind of wondering, you know, when I shared the trailer, you know, I didn't think it was going to get as massive as a response as it did, you know, but I did that.
What the heck was that all about? That was like 15,000 hits. I mean, I started laughing, going, "Oh, you probably just typed that number in there yourself, or you've been watching them all night." Or, you know what I mean? It's like 15,000. That's a lot. I mean, where do you think that came from?
I think it came from just the fact that, you know, I mean, I know some people, but I don't know everybody. What I did was I just shared it, you know, and you know, I figure let's use rapid fire, you know, as the back source, even though it's your material, it's all your creation. But if I'm able to at least get a hold of you, if not do an interview, just to thank you and let you know that it's doing very well, and maybe, you know, maybe this would be a good opportunity to, you know, if things really go well, then we have you on the show and see what happens. And I just shared it around with some groups that I'm a part of, and I just, you know, mostly closer to home, but yeah, I didn't think it was going to do as well as it did. And I looked on your YouTube channel where I originally found it, you know, and I just thought, well, this guy needs a little help, you know. Like I said, I thought you were high school.
We just put it out there, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about these things is you never know where it's going to go. And that whole robotics team, that it's like a world in itself, because they have tentacles, you know, all over the world, and it's just kind of starting to spread, which I'm really kind of finding amazing. But you know, that's why when I saw the 15,000 or whatever it's up to right now, I went, geez, that's unbelievable. That was only like in, what, 24, 48 hours?
Yeah, the first 24 hours before I went to bed, well, even before I went to work yesterday, or it had 7,000 views already, and I was just like, holy crap. So I didn't, you know, I had no idea, but I knew, I had a feeling, because the people who knew about this or whatnot, there was still a lot of people that were in the dark about it, you know, because I think as it gets closer and once you guys do your premiere and everything, you will get more coverage and you will get more attention, because, you know, this is, like I said, this is a big deal, especially up north, you know, when something like this happens. It doesn't happen every day. You're doing the stuff that I've always wanted to do, but I just never had the proper equipment to do all this stuff. But anyway, no.
Well, it takes time too. It's like that time thing too. Is you gotta, you know, it's one of those time and things, and that's one of the things for me. It's like you said, where did it come from? And maybe what I should do is kind of explain a little bit.
Yeah. Please do.
Because basically, what it is it's. I saw the story, like I said, during that snowstorm we had down here in mid-April. From that, went up there, started talking to people. Next thing you know, I think I was up there for 3 days, and we were interviewing people and talked to just all kinds of people. About the program, about Greenbush, about, you know, people donating and how everybody's kind of getting involved. And what I saw was they were prepping for, it was a week before they were going to Detroit for the World Championships. So I thought that, wow, okay, I got to follow them to Detroit and find out what's going on. So along the way, both in Greenbush and all the people that I met in Detroit at that competition, I kind of found out what this is all about. So, and I keep saying this, and even Mary Anderson, who's just a huge, huge part of it and a big help and one of the main mentors, she talks about how it's much more than a competition. And I think that's the part of the story that really intrigued me. So I saw them getting ready for the competition. I talked to all of them. I went to their schools, went to their practice place, and then followed them to the competition. And what you find is it's such a strange sport because it's not like this win or lose kind of sport. Like a football is a win or a lose. This is like you create these alliances, you work with other teams, and together you work with each other and help each other to lift you up into a better position. So for me, it was much more than this competition. It was about, big world ideas about how we can all work together and, about life lessons, that they're going to take into the real world. Because I was up there at the end, as you saw in the trailer, for the graduation. So the stuff that they've learned in this program, in this robotics program, they're going to take into the real world. And that's the story that intrigued me. It's not like, the tension that happened at Detroit, or if they won or lost or whatever, but it was really about them, the community, and how this, I call it the small town, David versus the Goliath of the world. These guys are in a city that's 719 people. Yeah. And, they're competing with people from Australia, Netherlands, Taiwan, or, all over the place. So that's the part that intrigued me, the people story and the human interest story. Along with the competition and just building that robot. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I think they're going to have it at the premiere. But the robot is just it's so cool itself, and what they do, to create it versus what somebody who might be in, New York or California or wherever, and how they, the differences of the engineering and the science behind it. And one of the guys talked about, his name is Kyle. He talked about how because they're farmers, they know what works and what doesn't work. They know about metals and they know about, engineering, and they know about stuff. So the combination of where they are and who they are and what they've had to do since they were kids, that's what helped them build these robots. And that's what I thought was kind of a cool story. So, and, most of these stories have to be more than, something for that area. So that's what I think is attracting people, not just in your area, but down here. I had a couple of people just say that they really can't wait to see the premiere of it, just because it just seems like such an interesting story. And it really is just a simple story. It's a simple story, and it's a documentary short, which is different than a documentary feature. A short, it runs right now about kind of in that 25-minute range. So it's a documentary short. Sure. But it's just very cool.
Yeah, and like I said, what we've seen in this trailer, I mean, it's almost like we're getting teased a little bit, because I everybody wants to watch it now, and when you put it together, I mean, I don't know, I mean, do you get a little choked up a little bit? How interesting of a story that it actually became?
It's funny because I don't do it in the edit booth. I do it when I meet the people, when I sit down and talk to them. That's when because you've obviously talked to a ton of people over the years or whatever, and sure. And it in your gut, when you feel like, I'm really into this interview, or I'm really having fun, or I really like this person, or whatever, or this is a cool story. So you feel it when I read the story, but then when I started meeting people, that's when I started feeling like, oh, this is cool, this is great. I like that. That makes sense. This is a great lesson. Everybody can relate to this, So it's not even in the edit booth. By the time I get to the edit booth, I'm hoping I have all my stuff, because I say this all the time for anybody who knows me, is most of my productions, no matter what it is, if it's a broadcast special or if it's a documentary or music video, whatever it is, 80% of it is pre-production. So if I pre-produce it, correctly, then 10% is shooting and 10% is editing. So it's really just prepping for your shoot. But this one was so different because I had no time to prep. I literally read the article, and 24 hours later, I was driving 6.5 hours to Greenbush. So something was pulling me up there. So maybe it was you. Maybe it was to be able to meet you.
yeah, maybe, yeah. What was I gonna say? Now, is it just you doing all the work then? Nobody else in your crew, or what?
Well, I have. It's it was a very small crew, and most of the stuff I did by myself, just because I didn't have time. Like I said, normally I prep so much more, and I didn't have time, so I kind of just took it upon myself. I got some help in Detroit with, you know, audio guys and stuff like that, and then my wife, who's been in the business for a long time, her name is Joan Steffen. She's been on HGTV and, you know, NBC News here in Minneapolis, and so she has a big background too. So she's helping me pull the story together, because I came back with just hours and hours of footage, and when you start going through it, you just kind of get overwhelmed. So she was a huge help in the story and helping tell the story. So
that's
so
cool.
Yeah, there was a few of us, but no, it was really. It was small, and up there it was just me. You know?
Okay.
So that's why it was really small, because we didn't have time, and we didn't have funds, we didn't have anything. It was just kind of, you know, just making this thing happen, because, you know, it was like, you know, a passion thing.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and that's kind of where, I mean, you and I share the same vision when it comes to creating something, and I think that's when it comes to any creator. You know, you got to have passion. If you don't have passion, man, absolutely. I tell you, then what the heck are you doing? You know, I mean, and that's the thing about absolutely. That's the thing about northern Minnesota that I've always liked, and I think it took for me to move away to really appreciate that area, because those people are passionate. Maybe they're not entertainers or anything like that, but they're passionate about the things that they do. They're passionate about the farming. They're passionate about being a teacher. They're passionate about, you know, being a wrestling coach, or, you know, all the things that, you know, sure. that are normal, your typical small town stuff. And that's what I like about it. And I think when all these people, that's why it kind of surprised me, you know, all the people that you interviewed, that, or at least the people that were at the sneak peek. I know almost everybody that you interviewed, just besides some of the younger people that I don't know. You know, Mary Anderson was my science teacher, for crying out loud. You know, awesome. So it goes to show that people stick around for quite a long time, you know.
I love that. But you know what, though? I'm telling you that whole passion thing is huge. And one of the things, and this is one of the reasons why we're talking right now, is because, you know, in that short time that we both had to look each other up and see who's who, I just respect that you just are doing something. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people sit around and they complain because this isn't working, or that's not working, or I don't have a big crew, I don't have money, or I don't have this. You know, but you're just doing something, and that's how I did this piece. Is I've been really fortunate to have enormous productions and big budgets and all that kind of stuff. But some of them are small because I just want to do it. You know, and I'm not going to wait around for somebody to you know, help me. So you just go out and do it, and that's that passion thing that I love. You know, when people do that, and like you said before, you just went down the list of all the different things that are passionate about. I had this woman. We did this, you know, with my book up. I did these book signing things, and a woman came up to me, and she was so fascinated or so excited to show me her pictures of mushrooms. She has just portfolio filled with mushrooms. And, you know, I wasn't a big fan of the mushrooms or whatever else, but I was thrilled with is her excitement for those pictures of mushrooms. Any kind of mushroom you can imagine, any time of day, all kinds of stuff. And I was just so blown away by how excited she was. And we kept in touch after that signing. That book signing thing, and she continued to show me stuff, and I would show her stuff. But she was just thrilled about shooting images of mushrooms. So, jeez. You know, whether it's mushrooms or somebody cooking, or like you said, a coach or whatever it is, man, just you gotta follow your heart, and if your heart tells you to do something, just do it, and you hope that everything else follows behind it, like, you know, money or, you know, mortgage payments.
Oh,
or,
sure.
know, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what I definitely agree with that, because it's like, you know, when we're talking about passion, we're also talking about, you know, the right to be creative. Nobody ever gave me much opportunity. I mean, only a couple people have, and one of them lives here in this house, and the others are not around no more. And I you know, you try real hard to get something, you know, at a big radio station or a TV station or whatever, and you know, nobody wants to give you the opportunity, so you have to make your own opportunity. And I used to be one of those people that used to complain. You know, back in the day, you know, I used to just be like,
sure,
boy, sure. I feel like I'm stuck, you know, I feel like, yeah. But then I try to grow up a little bit and then realize, you know, I got to make my own opportunities. And so same with you and same with all these other people, you know, they make their own opportunities. Some people get fortunate and they get, you know, whatever they want, but most of us have to work hard for what we want. And it doesn't matter about the money or whatever. It's more or less the fact that, you know, we are creators. We want to create. And right. will always be creators, and that's what impresses me about what you're doing, because you know, I mean, it's cool to know that film is still interesting, you know, and then there's somebody,
absolutely.
and there's still, you know, Hollywood, you know, is known nowadays for doing so many remakes. It's like this, you see hardly any originality nowadays. But with filmmaking, with documentary filmmaking, that's an original idea. And honestly, I mean, I love big blockbuster Hollywood movies and independent films and all too. But I love a good documentary, and I think when this comes out, man, this will be awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I mean the ultimate goal is to obviously get it distributed, and with the last documentary I did, it was called I Do with a question mark. It was I call it a lighthearted look at the crazy concept of marriage, and that took like best documentary at the Twin Cities Film Festival, and it kind of ran the whole film festival market, and that's kind of what might happen with this. I think is I'm going to start it off in the film festival world and see if there's any interest in distribution there, and just kind of see what happens. So right now, I really have no clue where this thing is going to end up, but we have an idea of how we're starting and where we want to go. And like I said, with my background in broadcasting and music videos and all the stuff that I've done, we're going to knock on a couple doors and see if we can get it out there to the world.
And do you see a DVD and a Blu-ray release eventually?
No, that's always there. That's always, as you know, that's always the kind of the last thing that happens. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it's going, and we're talking to a couple different people. Like I said, it's literally still in post. I have to make some graphic changes right now, so we're not exactly sure. And this thing has been happening so fast, but I'm not sure. But you know what? When I find out, man, you are going to be the first to know.
Oh well, thank you, because I'd definitely be interested in getting a copy when it does come, or a digital copy or whatever. I mean, any way to help you distribute it, because if your trailer could get over 15,000 views in such a short time, imagine how much the premiere would actually get. And that's.
Are you going to make it back?
Oh, I don't know. That's just the thing. I would love to, but I don't know financially and because of the job that I have, because this is not the only job that I do. My actual paying gig, it doesn't pay that much, but it's a full-time gig, and it's just a way to pay the bills so I can keep doing stuff like this and all that stuff. So
sure, I love that though. I have great respect for that. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm not
good for you. Damn it.
Oh yeah.
Can we swear on this? Can we swear on this?
Oh yeah, you can say whatever you want, man. I don't give a fuck. Hey, we're all northern Minnesota people or whatever. So I mean, at heart, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway,
that oofta.
Yeah, oofta. Yeah, that'll be the alternate word, or oh, let's go eat some Ludafix or something like that, or whatever. Anyway, no, I'm just happy to help you spread the word out. And I don't know how much press you've done yet for this, but I really am just honored just the fact that you gave me a chance to talk to you, because I hope we do meet down the line and someday, and because I think you got something good going, and
Yay.
you got
you
got good cameras. What kind of, not to give too much away, but I don't know if most directors or filmmakers like to give their secrets away as far as what kind of type of cameras you use, but it obviously must be something with really good quality, because it looks HD near almost near 4K quality.
Yeah, no, it's a great camera. It's just a Canon C300. So it's not anything unusual. It's a great little camera, and certainly not the best camera by any means. But it's one of those kind of documentary packages that you just go and you kind of do, and you kind of bring it to life. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been spoiled to have production trucks and huge crews and whatever else. But every once in a while, I'm telling you, sometimes I just love not answering to anybody. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's good and bad, right? When you don't answer to anybody, you usually don't. The money's not there, but on the other end, but
sure,
it doesn't matter. I enjoy it, and I think, like I said, I think it's a great story that has to get out there. And the whole Greenbush area was just fantastic and really warm and welcoming, and so I'm excited to do the premiere. But hey, before you throw me away here, I got to ask you a quick question. I saw a couple pictures online, and you were with Red Green. Is that the Red Green?
Oh yeah.
The
yeah.
PBS dude.
Yeah.
I literally started laughing when I saw that picture, because I think he's the most underrated comic around, and I love Red Green. And when I saw him with with you. I just started laughing my butt off, going, "That's so funny."
Oh yeah,
what was he like?
Oh well, this was back in 2014. He actually was going on tour for the first time ever, as far as I know, as far as actually an actual tour, and he's done it a few times. He's been to the Rapid once before, but we set up an interview and like we're doing right now, and then he gave me free tickets to his show when he came to town. And then we did a meet and greet, and he was a very nice guy. Now, it was, the meet and greet, of course, like all meet and greets, they're all quick or whatever. So it's like, got anything to sign, shook hand, took a picture. But he was still a genuine nice guy. The interview is where I got to really get to know him and get to know his character, from the Renegade's character to the Steve Smith character, the real-life Steve Smith, because that's his real name. And he was very warm, very down-to-earth, and I'm just honored. I'm just very honored. And if you also know that we're also friends with Williams and Ree. They actually were here last year in my studio, and we did a live interview with them. But, I mean, I'll send you the link to my podcast, and you'll probably be kind of impressed by some of the people I've been able to get. And I've done it for just for the love of it. It's no money or anything like that. It's always just been because of love.
That's great. That's great. And those, I mean, but you gotta, I call them darts. You gotta throw the darts. Some stick, some don't stick. But if you don't throw them, nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna sit there and whatever. But so I'm excited. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Joe, man. I tell you. Now, for people that want to know more about your work, how can they do that?
The best way to find me is just joebrandmeier.com. Joe Brandmeier. B as in boy. RANDMEIER, joebrandmeier.com. Or if they want to see the last documentary I did, it's under I Do Documentary, idodocumentary.com.
Now, is
see the last one I did.
Is this all free then, or do people have to pay like a monthly fee or something?
You can. Well, I mean, the documentary, there's trailers and stuff on that site. And the documentary, that one's on iTunes and Amazon. The other one is just my website with all kinds of music videos and stuff like that I've done on there. So
awesome.
So that's just so there's two different sites, but that's it. That's where you find me.
All right.
Like I said, Wednesday, August 15th at the Rosso Theater in Rosso, Minnesota.
Well, I hope you.
Am I pronouncing that right? Rosso,
Homo Polaris.
Rosso.
When you do, just do a favor for me as far as like when you do this. I take as many pictures as you can of the premiere, if anything, or share some clips, because if you do, I'll share them around on my Facebook page, and we'll spread the word out some more.
That would be great. It'd be a lot of fun.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, and you got something good. You got gold. Even if you don't realize you have gold, so
you got gold in the woods.
Thanks, Joe. I do appreciate it, and just keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep rocking and rolling.
And back at you, the same thing. Take your own advice. Have a great day, man.
All right, bye. All right, guys, that was Joe Brandmeier, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Now, I know we didn't have a whole lot of people in the chat because Facebook was just acting kind of weird today. When I went up, now they don't want anybody to play live music, or unless it's your own music or whatever, or the free music that they can't track or whatever. So, hey, what's going on, Roger? Good to see you, or good to see that you're in the chat room anyway. Well, anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this interview. I do appreciate Joe Brandmeier for taking the time to let me speak to him. I don't know how much press he's done so far. This is probably the first of many, and we'll have to get him back. Maybe after the premiere, and kind of get his thoughts of after the fact, maybe later on down the road. But this was a great opportunity for me, being from northern Minnesota. It makes me proud of my hometown, and proud that I can share all this with all of you guys, and just to spread the word, because that's all the. We don't know each other, but you know what? We now know each other a little bit, and I just want to do my part, because I figure as a media source, alternative media especially, this is what we do. We help people out when there's something good out there, and it's good for the community or whatever, or just if it's something that I feel that that deserves more attention than it does. I'll do my part, and it's mostly up to everybody else to like and share and comment and whatever. And I kind of had that feeling that people were going to do that. I didn't know for sure, but I just figure, Yep, it's northern Minnesota. Everybody's gonna, everybody who sees it, especially around that area, it will do their part because it's big time, whether people realize it or not. It's just as big as winning a state championship. Okay, so anyway, so I appreciate everybody to tune in. Now this will be available on demand here later on in the month or in July, but the live video that you see will still be up and running for the time for the time being anyway. So share this around if you can, and let's keep spreading the word. Small Town Robot, Joe Brandmeier. Man, I tell you, this is awesome. I'm Frankie Slauson. We're going to get you back to live regular music on the rapidfire.caster.fm site, and we'll see you later. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.